Imagine this. You're standing in front of a mirror, confidently speaking English without anyone else to help you. It might sound impossible at first, right? You may think, how can I speak fluently if I don't have anyone to practice with? But let me challenge that thought. What if the secret to becoming fluent in English lies not in waiting for a partner, but in speaking to yourself every single day? Yes, you heard that right. You already have everything you need to start your journey towards fluency today. The answer is simpler than you think, and it's something you can start doing right now. In this video, we're going to break down a misconception that holds so many learners back: the belief that you need a speaking partner to improve your English fluency. How many times have you thought, if only I had a native speaker to practice with, I'd finally speak English well? That seems logical, doesn't it? After all, language is all about communication. So, naturally, it makes sense to think you need someone else to help. Right? Well, here's the truth: that belief is a misconception, and today, I'm going to show you how you can master fluency on your own. Welcome to Listen and Learn English, the podcast where we break down language barriers and help you unlock your true English potential. Whether you're just starting out or you're looking to refine your skills, we're here to give you the tools you need to succeed. Today, I'm diving into something that holds so many learners back: the belief that you need a speaking partner to truly improve your fluency in English. I know many of you have thought this, and maybe you even believed it at one point. If I could just find a native speaker to practice with, I'd finally be able to speak English like a pro. It sounds logical, right? Language is about communication, after all. So, it makes sense to think that you need someone else to communicate with in order to improve. But here's the truth: that belief is not just wrong, it's holding you back. You don't need a partner every day to practice your English. In fact, independent practice can sometimes be even more effective than relying on others. In this episode, we'll break down exactly why that is, and we'll show you how to master English fluency on your own without needing a partner at all. You've got everything you need to unlock your fluency today. The real path to fluency: self-directed practice. Let's get into it. The first thing I want you to understand is this: you don't need a partner every day to practice English. In fact, independent practice can be even more powerful than waiting for someone else to help you. Why? Because with self-directed practice, you control your own journey. You choose the topics, the pace, and the focus of your learning. There's no waiting around for someone else. You're in charge. You might be thinking, but what about real conversations? The truth is, learning to speak fluently on your own can actually help you grow faster. Think about it. You're not waiting for the availability of a class, a tutor, or a speaking partner. You're creating your own fluency journey every single day. When you practice on your own, you build consistency and control. You have the freedom to practice at your own pace. Focus on the areas you struggle with the most and reinforce your strengths. It's a process that's entirely up to you, and that's where the real power lies. Why traditional methods fall short? Now, let's take a step back and think about why traditional methods sometimes leave learners feeling stuck. You know the drill. How many of you have been in a class with 20 other students, only getting to speak for about 2 minutes in an entire hour? And those 2 minutes you may have felt rushed or not fully engaged. It's not enough for real fluency. Or maybe you've had a speaking partner who was friendly but didn't really correct your mistakes. So you ended up repeating the same errors over and over again. Does this sound familiar? Or perhaps you've relied on occasional online conversations with someone who was willing to chat, but it wasn't consistent enough to make a real difference. This can leave you frustrated because fluency isn't about a few isolated conversations. It's about consistency. It's about speaking every day, day in and day out. Fluency is built through repetition and consistent practice. It's about engaging with the language every single day. And that's where self-directed practice comes in. You can practice anytime, anywhere, and at your own pace, without waiting for someone else's availability. Introducing the inner conversation method. So, what's the alternative to all this? How can you practice English every day without a partner? The answer lies in what I call the inner conversation method. It's a powerful technique that involves talking to yourself out loud. Sounds simple, right? But it's incredibly effective. When you talk to yourself, you're bringing your inner thoughts to life in English. Imagine this: you're making breakfast. Instead of doing it in silence, you start narrating your actions out loud. For example, I'm cracking the eggs. The pan is heating up. I'm going to add some cheese. You're not just thinking these thoughts, you're speaking them out loud in English. You're bringing your thoughts to life. This act of narrating your daily activities not only helps you practice English consistently, but it also makes your thinking process more natural. When you start turning your everyday thoughts into spoken English, you're giving your brain a chance to process and practice in real time. You're simulating a real-world conversation, except it's just you. But here's the thing. This method helps you think in English, something you can't do if you're waiting for someone else to speak with you. The power of responding to content. Another way to apply the inner conversation method is by responding to content you're watching or listening to. Let's say you're watching a news video or listening to a podcast. Instead of passively absorbing the information, try to respond to it. Imagine the presenter just asked for your opinion. You might say something like, "Well, I don't fully agree with that," or, "From my perspective, the situation is more complicated." Now, you're not just listening, you're engaging. You're turning the passive listening experience into an active speaking exercise. By talking back to the content, you simulate a real conversation. It might not be an actual person you're conversing with, but it's still helping your brain practice the necessary skills to hold a real conversation. By responding to content, you train your brain to react quickly and fluently. It's just like having a dialogue with someone, except you're practicing on your own. This kind of practice is crucial to developing the ability to think and respond quickly in English, which is an essential part of fluency. Repetition and consistency. Consistency is key to success in any language learning journey. You're not going to become fluent overnight, but small. Consistent actions every day can bring massive progress over time. The more you practice speaking English, the more natural it becomes. It's about making English a part of your daily routine, so it becomes as second nature as your native language. Let's take a simple example when you first start speaking. It feels forced or awkward. You have to think carefully about every word, every sentence. But with time, as you consistently practice on your own, you'll start to notice that your speech flows more easily. Your thoughts are quicker, your sentences are more coherent, and the need for pauses or corrections starts to fade. Self-dialogue, a conversation with yourself. One of the most effective and yet often overlooked methods for improving fluency is self-dialogue. Now, I know this may sound a little strange at first. How can talking to yourself help you learn a language? But trust me, this method works wonders for improving your English. In fact, self-dialogue is one of the most powerful tools you can use to practice natural conversation rhythm, think in English, and enhance your fluency. The beauty of self-dialogue lies in the fact that you can play both roles in a conversation. Imagine you're explaining a movie plot to a friend. For example, the main character wants to escape the city, but he doesn't have enough money, so he tries to make a plan. The tension builds as the clock ticks down. You're not only practicing speaking English, but you're also simulating the flow of conversation. It's as if you're talking to someone, but you're doing it all on your own. When you practice self-dialogue, you get to play both parts, the speaker and the listener. You get to practice responding quickly, thinking in English, and adjusting to the flow of conversation without having to wait for a partner to engage with you. This exercise helps you develop a sense of timing and fluidity in English conversation, something that can be difficult to achieve when you rely on someone else to prompt you. But it doesn't stop there. Self-dialogue also helps you practice different scenarios. You can simulate arguments, storytelling, or even hypothetical situations. Let's say you're explaining your day. First, I woke up, and then I made a cup of coffee. Next, pretend you're your listener. Oh, did you enjoy your coffee? Then, respond as yourself. Yes, it was perfect. I love starting my day with a warm cup of coffee. By switching between roles, you reinforce the rhythm and natural flow of conversations. AI conversation. Partners and personalized learning. But what if you want even more interaction? Well, technology is on your side. In today's world, we have access to AI-powered tools like ChatGPT, which can simulate conversations at any time. Imagine it's midnight, and you feel like practicing ordering food in English. Instead of waiting for a class or scheduling a session with a partner, you can open an AI conversation partner and immediately start practicing. It's that easy. With AI, you can practice any situation, whether it's a formal conversation, like ordering food, or informal conversations like asking for directions, or even debating an opinion. AI doesn't have to sleep, it doesn't get tired, and it's available 24/7. You don't have to rely on anyone else's schedule or availability. Additionally, many language learning apps today offer personalized learning paths. These apps analyze your progress and provide customized recommendations based on what you need to practice most. This tailored approach is incredibly effective because it ensures that you're focusing on your individual weaknesses rather than wasting time on things you already know. The more personalized your learning is, the faster you will progress. Technology is an amazing tool that allows you to practice English exactly where you need it. Your daily fluency blueprint, now that we've covered some strategies to practice on your own. Let's discuss the daily fluency blueprint, a simple but effective plan to practice speaking English consistently. A blueprint is essentially a roadmap that outlines your language learning goals, helping you stay on track. The best part: it doesn't need to be complicated. Even if you dedicate just 15 minutes a day to focused, consistent practice, you'll see improvement over time. Think of it like going to the gym. You don't build strength by going once for 3 hours and then stopping. You build strength by exercising a little every day. The same principle applies to language learning. You don't need marathon study sessions to improve your fluency. Small, consistent efforts every day are the key. So, what might a typical day of practice look like in the morning? Narrate your actions as you get ready. For example, I'm brushing my teeth. I'm choosing my clothes for today. This starts your day with English, getting your brain in the right mindset. In the afternoon, take a short break and listen to a podcast or watch a video in English. Afterward, talk back to it. Pretend you're a guest speaker or respond to the content. For instance, if you're watching a news video, say, I don't completely agree with that. From my perspective, the situation is more complicated because, in the evening, practice a short self-dialogue. You could pretend you're telling a friend about your day. Today was a busy day. First, I did this, then I did that, and at the end of the day, I felt satisfied. In just 15 minutes of practice, you've already spoken English 3 separate times throughout the day. You're building fluency, consistency, and confidence, all without needing a partner. Tracking your progress, One of the most powerful ways to stay motivated and see your progress is by tracking your improvement. It's easy to feel discouraged when you don't see immediate results, but tracking your progress will show you just how far you've come. I recommend recording your voice once a week and saving those recordings. At first, you might hear a lot of mistakes or things you want to improve, but after a few weeks or months, when you listen back to your old recordings, you'll notice significant improvement. This process can be incredibly motivating, as you'll see clear evidence of your progress. Imagine being able to hear how much more fluent you sound after a few months of practice. That feeling of growth is one of the most powerful motivators in language learning. It proves that small daily efforts truly lead to big results. The long-term vision. Fluency is built brick by brick. Here's an important point to remember. Fluency is not something you'll achieve overnight. It's not one giant leap forward. Fluency is built piece by piece, like building a house, brick by brick. Every single time you speak English, you're adding a new layer to your fluency. If you stay consistent, if you continue showing up every day and practicing, even with small efforts, you'll eventually create something powerful and permanent. Your fluency muscle will grow stronger. And before you know it, speaking English will feel completely natural to you. You don't need a partner to speak English every day. So, let's revisit the central question of today's episode. Do you really need a partner to speak English every day? The answer is a resounding no. You can absolutely unlock fluency on your own, and I've shown you how to do it through methods like the inner conversation technique, self-dialogues, and narrating your daily life. What you need are the right methods, the right tools such as AI conversation partners, and most importantly, consistency. The best partner you could ever have in your journey to fluency is yourself. You are in control of your own practice, and you can start today. So here's my challenge to you, right after this episode. Try speaking out loud, do a short self-dialogue, or narrate your next activity. Whether it's cooking, walking, or just thinking through your day, speak to yourself in English. You'll be amazed at how powerful this practice can be in helping you improve your fluency. Remember, you have everything you need to succeed. You just need to take the first step. Start now and see how far you can go. Fluency is within your reach. Let's do this together.